It's a new year, a new Pokemon release, and look at those sales numbers. It seems almost certainly that even if you make a very somewhat okay, mediocre looking Pokemon game, people will still buy. If you crunch those numbers, $76 a game in some parts of the world, more in others, that game is going to that those sales numbers are in the ballpark of $500 million, if not completely wholeheartedly. And my brothers in Christ, that is utterly bonkers and insane to think about that a game that looks like this so move that much hardware, that much money. But again, it's the age old adage. You'll buy this slop because it's Pokemon, and by God, you're right. I've put about 60 hours in this game at this point, and brother, it is hard to look at. But I think the concept of it is there. I like that Mega Evolutions are back, and I'm indifferent to real-time combat in a JRPG. I think it doesn't work at all. But for Pokemon, it kind of does. Characters that we all know and love, like Lysander, AZ, Emma. Remember Emma? She was part of your group of friends in X and Y. And of course, a literal criminal who worked for the Team Flare, who was about to bring about a new world order, is having to help Professor Sycamore because that's her. That's what she's got to do for her crime work. A literal convict is doing community service, which kind of hope we see Professor Sycamore in the DLC. Honestly, X and Y are probably one of my favorites of the 3DS era, and people might not agree with that. I think all in all, it's an okay game. I like the concepts are there. I love a continuation of a story when Pokemon games themselves are very hit or miss on how they continue their stories and their narratives. Like the rare instances, most of the time, old games that come after don't mention what came before, except the rare instances of legitimate sequels like I guess Crystal, Silver, and Gold are kind of sequels. When we go to Kanto, we go to Johto, Black and White 2, I guess. Is Ultra Sun and Moon kind of a sequel, or is it sort of just a reimagining of Sun and Moon? I don't know. But I like it when Pokemon explores and does sequels and has a continuation from the story. It's great. But man, is this game hard to look at. I'm giving you a point blank look at a game from 20 years ago. In fact, 20 years ago, as of October of last month. This is Shadows of Colossus. Very good game, by the way, and it looked like it's aged pretty well. And if you really want to do anything better, that's insane that this is from 20 years ago. And there are certain PS2 games that kind of look insane, like Final Fantasy X. I think it's Final Fantasy X with Titus and that horrendous laugh. Had to get it in. James Arnold Taylor, my Obi-Wan Kenobi, by the way. I love that so much. Uh Pokemon literally can print money. And it's unfortunate that we see Nintendo not really giving Game Freak the means when they'll give money for like Legend of Zelda or Mario, but they barely give enough for Pokemon and Game Freak, which, I mean, if you really want to dive in, those sale numbers are kind of $500 million in sales from probably a little bit more. So it's not lost to me that they can give them barely anything and those games will sell insanely well. And that's just honestly the nature of Pokemon. You don't have to have a good quality game. It'll sell anyways because the name sells alone. And you see that with certain franchises and companies. One that comes to mind I love near and dear to my heart is Resident Evil. Resident Evil as a brand sells. And most of the time, though, the quality is behind that name. You know, one of the lowest points in Resident Evil's history was 6, and I shamelessly love 6, but I can't deny the effect it had on a company like Capcom who thought they wouldn't be able to keep the lights on after how abysmal it launched. But here they are, banger after banger after banger, success after success, if you don't count Resident Evil 3 Remake, and no signs of slowing down. But Pokemon as a name has been in the limelight for 30 years, if not longer in Japan. So it's kind of insane to say, I think it's been 30 years, it might be a little bit less. It's insane to say that they can't put forth effort to make these games better. Like, I think when I look at something like Arceus and what came after, it's insane to me that the quality seemed to have dipped. You can make grievances about Arceus that it feels very empty. not a lot of people to interact with. But I think the Pokemon designs are at its peak. I think shinies look fantastic, which is we all love our different colored Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, I think it could always be worse. But as I've spent my time on Legends EI, I can't help but feel like this looks very bad for a game released in 2025. It's not lost on me that it just looks mediocre. When I look at a game like Shadow of the Colossus and compare it to Legends EA, I'm just completely perplexed. Even going back to Legends Arceus, it's kind of insane to me how bad this looks, even comparing to a Pokemon game from a few years ago. The animations look bad, the characters look a little rough, they look very not lifeless. I like the concept of Wild Zones, fantastic idea. I think it was implemented pretty well, but all in all, it just looks bad for a game released in 2025. But you could always say that Nintendo's never about making the flashiest looking game, 4K, 120 FPS. But they can do that with their games. They could give Game Freak the necessary funds, and it could very also be Game Freak's problem as well. But it seems like their funding comes from Nintendo. Maybe Nintendo just doesn't want to give them the money because they are their parent company. They have a say in ultimately what goes, I guess. And it's kind of just, again, insane to me that we have the largest intellectual property to ever exist, billions of dollars in revenue every year, and they don't give it the money it needs to truly shine. I think a game like Arceus is quality despite my minor grievances with it. I think if you give a company like Game Freak actual money, they could do some wonders with it. They could really go in and make a high quality Pokemon game that we know they can do. 3DS era, for instance, had a lot of great high quality Pokemon games. And Arceus, I think, is high quality despite the issues it has. So it's not like they can't make it happen. It's not like they can't give Pokemon the money it needs to flourish and thrive. You know, $13 million budget, $500 million in sales in its first week. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that is right. So it's kind of insane to me that they don't put that kind of effort into this franchise. But at the end of the day, Nintendo is going to do what they want and give Game Freak whatever they decide. And I think in the end of all that is a problem. You look at other franchises that have been around a lot longer, and their quality tends to stagnate. Like, as much as I love the remakes of Final Fantasy, and I somewhat love 16, remakes of 7, and I somewhat love 16, I can't deny that their quality is sort of stagnating, and has been stagnating over the last several years. Pokemon has been the same way, and they've been that way since the Switch era started. And now you're going to make the argument, Twitchy, it's a game for kids. That doesn't hold water to me when it's the largest intellectual property to ever exist. They should be wanting to give this game a budget worth its title. It's not like they can't put $50 million on a Pokemon game and it not get it back in the week of release if it's put in a lot of efforts put into it. It's just insane to me. It's lost on me. I think Pokemon as a franchise can truly flourish if it's given the time to take shape and hold. I think if you give it enough money and you put enough time and effort into it, people will love you even more. Pokemon is a huge IP. No denying it, probably the biggest in the world. It makes its money on cardboard every year, and when a game releases, that extra injection of cash is insane. Never mind the fact that they have all these anime shows, like was it Pokemon Concierge, the new anime that's out, that's pretty good. At least it's not following an immortal 10-year-old who constantly loses over and over again for 20 plus years. I'm just saying. But I think Pokemon deserves better. I think we can all agree Pokemon as a franchise needs to be better. We can't just not hold these companies accountable when they're making mediocre quality games. And I know, much as I love playing this game, I think it has a lot of issues with it. I think it struggles with a lot that it needs to be. Like, this game should not have been released looking the way it does. I think Pokemon deserves better. I'm bringing up Arceus again because it looks really good. The animations are solid. The character animations look great. The Pokemon designs look fantastic. And it's very good. That being said, I just don't know why they don't do it. I don't know why they won't put more money into these games. It's just kind of lost on me that they won't put forth the effort to create high quality games on a Switch. It literally writes the checks itself. I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird. I play this. I put a lot of time into it. I enjoy it for what it's worth, but I can't deny that it could be a whole lot better. But you can say that about any franchise or game. And I don't know, man. I want Nintendo to do better with Game Freak and Pokemon, and I want Pokemon to be a better franchise and look nice, man. The 3DS and DS era and the old games had so much flavor, so much sauce with their designs and their character animations and the Pokemon animations. Like, the Pokemon look fantastic. I think some Pokemon look worse in this Switch era. That's just me. I think some of the Pokemon designs in this game look worse than their old designs. It's just, it is what it is at the end of the day. Pokemon's gonna sell like hot gangbusters, and it doesn't matter the quality because people will buy it anyways. They'll never change, and that's unfortunate. But consensus to me is I think Pokemon Legends EA is okay, but I think it needs to be better. I think the quality needs to be better. That being said, I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think? Are you playing the newest title from Game Freak and Nintendo? And if you are you enjoying yourself? Are you having fun with it? I'm enjoying it, but my problem is I just think it could be better. I think $13 million is not enough to really give Pokemon what it needs. But that's it, guys. That's the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Helps your boy get in the algorithm. If you're feeling super generous, maybe, just maybe, consider subscribing and turning on notification bells to keep updated when I post. But that's it. That's the video. I love you all. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.